This is Tim Bryce with my column titled The Political War of 2018. Back in January, I previewed the midterm elections and predicted this will become a bloody political war. Unfortunately, I was right. With just over a month to go, the election gets nastier with each passing day. As I predicted, every word President Trump says or tweets is scrutinized by the news media and twisted by the left. Accuracy in news reporting is a myth. Flagrant lies and misrepresentations abound in order to try and stop Republicans from holding on to the Congress and various state governments. Everything is politicized, even hurricanes. In fear, it might make the president and Republicans look good. Prior to Hurricane Florence's arrival off the coast of the Carolinas, the media asked the president if the federal government was prepared for the emergency and had they learned anything from Puerto Rico 1 year earlier. The president responded by saying the government was ready for Florence and, all things considered, did a remarkably good job in supporting Puerto Rico, which took the press aback, claiming it was a disaster instead. When you consider the location of the island and its poor economic condition, yes, the federal government did a good job. People seem to have forgotten that thanks to the policies of the Democrats, Puerto Rico was on the verge of bankruptcy. It has a horrible reputation for economic responsibility with billions of dollars in debt, pension obligations they cannot afford to pay, and a dwindling GDP. Consequently, the infrastructure and utilities were not in the best of shape prior to the hurricane, as well as emergency services, requiring major repairs by the federal government. And the president was accused of being insensitive to the deaths in Puerto Rico when he tweeted, quote, 3,000 people did not die in the two hurricanes that hit Puerto Rico. When I left the island after the storm had hit, they had anywhere from 6 to 18 deaths. As time went by, it did not go up by much. Then a long time later, they started to report really large numbers, like 3,000. This was done by the Democrats in order to make me look as bad as possible when I was successfully raising billions of dollars to help rebuild Puerto Rico. If a person died for any reason, like old age, just add them onto the list. Bad politics. I love Puerto Rico. End quote. After maintaining for several months that only a handful of people had perished due to hurricanes, the Puerto Rican government raised the death toll unexpectedly to 2,975 in August. Is it a coincidence this news came just before the midterms? In other words, the president makes a good point, yet the media went viral in their condemnation of what he said. This certainly will not be the last instance of twisting his words, as we still have over a month to go until the election. Then there's the outrageous behavior by Senate Democrats to obstruct the appointment of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court, including an alleged high school sexual misconduct charge reported as a last-minute Hail Mary designed to stop Mr. Kavanaugh. The candidate categorically and unequivocally denies this allegation and is backed by many women who have known him for many years. This was nothing more than a last-minute smear campaign to besmirch the candidate's good name. What this all highlights is this campaign goes well beyond the president to other Republicans running for governor, Senate, the House, State Assembly, or dog catcher. Using the influence of the media, the Democrats are falsely accusing GOP candidates of racism and other improprieties. Case in point, the attacks on Florida GOP gubernatorial candidate Ron DeSantis by the media, adamantly accusing him of making racist comments. Actually, he made no such comment at all. This is all concocted by Democrat operatives in the press. Publications like the New York Times, Washington Post, Huffington Post, Tampa Bay Times, and many others have lost all sense of honest journalism and have become the marketing arm of the Democrats. The same can be said of CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, etc. They have lost their integrity and any semblance of reality. Their job is simple. Refute anything and everything the president says and accuse him of maligning their character when he dares to fight back. While the press persists in putting down a diversionary smokescreen for the Democrats to hide behind, the economy continues to rebound and the average American prospers. As noted by the Mercatus Center at George Mason University, Republicans possess a far better track record of running state governments, particularly in Florida. Yet the media refuses to acknowledge this, as it does not fit their political agenda. Even the polls are skewed in favor of the Democrats, just as they were in 2016, as they are under control of the left. It is no small wonder they claim the Democrats are pulling ahead. Their predictions will likely be as bad as they were in 2016. Frankly, the polls do not matter. The best way to determine election outcome is to study the early voting and absentee balloting data coming out of the various Secretary of State's Division of Elections. This is how I knew Mr. Trump would clinch Florida in 2016. The polls are worthless. The left has gone well beyond simple propaganda and lampooning their opponents and now resort to name-calling, identity politics, bullying, rumors and innuendo, slander and libel, lies and deceit, character assassination, race baiting, and bearing false witness. They are unapologetic for it as well, even quite proud of how they have changed the moral fabric of the country. This is what the face of desperation looks like. In reality, what we are witnessing is the death roll of the Democrats, a party desperate for a win in November. As I mentioned back in January, the Democrats have to win if they ever hope to survive as a party. As such, any lie or deceit is deemed acceptable in order to win at any cost. If you think the press is bad now, you haven't seen anything like what you're about to see in the last month of the campaign. They have lost their civility and found a home as bottom dwellers. Sad, very sad. As for the Republicans, they have to keep their cool and not lower themselves to the level of the Democrats. They need to stick to the facts and sell the financial prosperity and stability they have created. Since the press will not report anything positive about their party, it is necessary for Republicans to blitz the internet using such things as social media and email to get the truth out. Unfortunately, social media is controlled by the Democrats and as such may be censored. Regardless, it is time for Republicans to be proactive, not reactive, in combating the socialists. Their biggest mistake would be to underestimate the will of the left and let them have their say uncontested. If they do this, they deserve to lose. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.